Hey guys.
Obvious jump cut is not obvious.
Yeah, unfortunately the camera ran out of data.
Look, we went to lengths to recreate this. We went and got Pizza Hut again, came to Sheetz, parked in the same fucking spot, used the same lighting,
but
I wore the same hoodie.
But yeah, so sorry about that, guys. We're gonna continue. We'll just keep going. So
continuity error.
Where were we when we left off?
We were talking about MJ.
Yeah, we finally got to MJ and why she
is best girl.
If you want, you could start because I kind of led the conversation a lot in the first half.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where we were. I remember we talked about MJ's backstory and
we were talking about
her turning Peter down to get married 2-3 times. We were talking about her. Oh, excuse me. Clear my throat.
We just gotten done with telling about when she said yes.
Yeah. So we just got to that part. I guess maybe we should just talk about
like why MJ and
that and like maybe could talk about recent goings on in Amazing, which pertain to MJ.
Well, I mean, we might as well because the whole point of this is just at least why MJ is, in my opinion, the only true love for Spider-Man. So after they get married, like a lot of writers had a hard time, but like I don't really think that that's the case because in my opinion, I think it's just like as much as this sounds corny, it's because he really does prove that he is her hero. Like and not like he always saves her, but like he has stood by her in like her worst moments. Which is like he gave her the courage to finally stop running from her past. Like for everyone who talks about like how like Peter is too good for her, I'm like, I mean, to be fair, I actually argue MJ would probably argue that because like because that is one of the things I always liked about their relationship. They actually both feel these insecurities about like one being not good enough for the other.
I would argue too that probably MJ. I'm sorry, my throat is really groggy. I don't know why, but would you argue that MJ kind of has like forgive me for how I'm gonna word it, like a Jenny syndrome from Forrest Gump, like you don't want to marry me.
Yeah, I do think there's a little bit of something like that she, especially because like her whole life like her dad treated her like shit. And I think that translates a lot into why she acts the way she does. Aside from, like, the scene where, like, her parents got into a big fight and, like, the kids are like, what are you crying about, MJ? And then she, starts putting on the party girl facade for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, because, like, a lot of people like to think, like, because, like, I know one of the big naysays for MJ is, like, well, she was partying all the time in college and doing drugs.
Yeah, everybody blames her for Harry getting hooked, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
And this, to be fair, this is not my idea. This is from the website SpideyKicksbutt.com where they used to, when they did the Why'd It Have to Be You. I actually believe that MJ probably wouldn't touch alcohol or drugs because she knows that would make her a little too open and she might just start, crying her eyes out about how much her life sucks.
Yeah. So
in my opinion, I think she probably didn't really touch the stuff until maybe after they got married and maybe has an occasional glass of wine.
Yeah.
But like because I always tell like the reason Harry did drugs is it was the only escape he had from how bad his life was.
Yeah, but everybody, and I suspect a lot of it is the people that are the really hardcore Gwen Peter shippers that use everything as an excuse. Yeah. Which, to be fair, there are Peter MJ shippers that use that against Gwen. To be equally fair.
Well, then to be fair, Harry's choice of drugs was like painkillers and stuff that like rich people get. So I highly doubt it was MJ who got him addicted to painkillers.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, later he did LSD, but that was just because that was the in drug at the time. That's why Stan used it. Especially because like I always point out like Peter and MJ they had their own ways of escaping the pain of their lives. With Peter, it was being Spider-Man. Like everyone always talks about like MJ was like rebelling, and I'm like, I think her rebelling was being a go-go dancer more than being. Which, to be fair, I always love saying that because people are like, "Excuse me, she was a what?" I'm like, it was. I mean,
60s. Have you seen? I mean, what isn't? Ugh. My throat is fucking terrible tonight. I don't know why, but Remember I told you anytime Disco Dress MJ shows up on Tumblr, I hit the reblog button without question.
Disco Dress MJ is quite good looking, so I can't... to be fair, the artists that drew MJ for the first time knew what they were doing. Like I give Stan a lot of credit. He always found the right author to make women hot, or right artist.
Yeah.
But like, I know like another argument, and probably the one that annoys the shit out of me the most is, especially during the time where they were separated, before Straczynski got on the title, is they both argue about how young they are and that they were too young to get married. Let's look at when exactly they married, and
like late 20s.
Well, yeah, because like Peter was a grad student.
Like they were like you and me's age.
Yeah, they probably closer to your age, like 25.
Yeah,
and like
I know quite a few people that are fucking married at my age.
My best friend got married when he was like, we were, actually that was about 2016, so like 26-ish, I think.
Yeah, so right around that area.
But like, and I hate the too young thing for another reason. Like, the amount of shit.
That's a cop out.
Like the amount of shit they've been through. Like that ages you. I don't care if it like physically ages you. That, because let's look at the shit they've been through.
One of your best friends getting their neck snapped by getting thrown off a bridge. That alone will do it to you.
The fact that one of their other best friends almost nearly died of a drug overdose,
and then later dies being the Green Goblin. Like
that.
They've been through enough shit.
Then, knowing Peter Parker, the person I know him as, he had to grow up pretty fast, even before Uncle Ben died.
Yeah,
because they were elderly. He had to do a lot of the things around the house, like that scene in Raimi where him and Uncle Ben were going to paint the kitchen. Of course, Peter had to do that. Uncle Ben must be in like his 70s or 80s. That's hard work for men in their 50s, let alone. But like, like that, and just like the Peter Parker I know is someone who wants that. Like, Peter Parker is not someone who's like, no, I was too young, I wasn't ready for marriage. Like, dude was gonna marry Gwen while they were still in college. Like, the too young thing just pisses me off. It really does.
I have always argued that anybody using the too young thing, I'm like, that to me, that's not only a cop out, that's bad writing.
Yeah.
When you sum that up, that just, to me, is a sign that you couldn't come up with a better excuse.
Yeah, like especially because like at that point they also dealt with the miscarriage. like Aunt May died.
Come on, Adam. Marvel doesn't admit to that. Well, you know this.
Fuck Marvel. If they won't, they can pretend all they fucking want. I saw it happen. I watched it happen. Don't tell me it didn't happen. But,
stupid kid, you don't know what you want. None of you ever did.
No, to be fair, I partially get why, like, outside of the Clone Saga thing.
Yeah.
It is kind of one of those subjects that it's very
hard to talk about.
Yeah.
We were explaining it to somebody in our friend group today, and it was kind of awkward bringing that up.
Like, because, like, it's just, it's a touchy subject. And I get why, for that reason. The other reason's a lot scummier in the fact that, well, we could probably talk on and on about, like, why Tom DeFalco gets screwed over about the Clone Saga, but that's not what this video is about.
Y'all hating on my man Tom, but y'all fucking love him. No,
yeah, I know, like,
Tom did nothing wrong.
Especially because he wasn't even the one who came up with the Clone Saga.
Yeah, I'm tired of Tom DeFalco getting blamed for shit that isn't his fucking fault. Yeah. I don't want to blame anybody for Clone Saga. Blame the fucking Marvel marketing team.
That or the guy that started writing it.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I want to say it's something with an H, but
was it Eric?
Was it
Eric Larson?
No, it wasn't Eric Larson. Eric was gone.
David McLean?
No, because I can't remember the name, but regardless,
I'd have to go look it up.
Because DeFalco was like,
I just knew they were writing right around that period.
Yeah. Well, Larson at that point had left for Image because he was doing Savage Dragon. But yeah. Again, getting back on track, like there's a lot of stupid reasons. Like the worst is them being like MJ being like too ditzy because she's a model and an actress.
That's some Dan Slott fucking reasoning.
Like, because like MJ is very intelligent. I don't really like. Well, it's more like he read like the early MJ where like they hadn't developed her, where you know she did seem kind of like ditzy, but like that was an act.
Yeah.
As we've stated multiple times, that was an act.
Dan Slott can't write that complicated. You know that.
No, I know he can't write that. Well, it's not just him. It's Quesada, too. Because a lot of the reasons...
Joe Quesadilla can't even cook himself. What are you talking about?
No, I know he can't. He's not the very good quesadilla. Although you probably would have liked it. It's all nothing but cheese.
No, it's nothing but cheese. It's just some fucking tortilla thrown in the fucking quesadilla maker.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay, someone's gonna ask us one day, what is the joke with Joe Quesadilla?
Because his name is Quesada, and I always make jokes that his name is actually Joe Quesadilla because I refuse to actually...
And the first time he told me that, I thought it was like the funniest fucking thing. So I'm like, I'm gonna start using that now.
Joe Quesadilla is a joke. I mean, it's better than Dan Dildio.
Dan Dildio. Jesus Christ.
But
Jesus.
I'm probably gonna not hear the end of that one. You know, maybe 5G was actually supposed to be named 5G Spot.
Jesus fucking Christ. The fuck, man? This is a family show.
This is not a family show. We spent like the whole thing talking about people Peter Parker's fucked.
We haven't talked about himself because he routinely fucks himself on a lot of shit.
He does do that.
Like that one where he's like, go on instincts. Don't instincts bad. Toss a fucking duffel bag out the window.
That's the most Peter Parker thing I had seen Peter Parker do in a long time.
What is the one where him being like instincts bad and throwing the fucking duffel bag out the window?
Yeah, I'm like Peter, can we talk?
What about the one in Ultimate where he pants his Doc Ock while fighting him? Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Speaking of, do you think that Ultimate Mary Jane is as good as like 616 MJ, or do you prefer one or the other?
Okay, it's like I'm gonna have to word my answer carefully with this, because in my defense, I have not read all of Ultimate.
Fair.
I have read up to volume.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
I want to say volume 4.
I mean,
I'm going by the Ultimate collection.
You've seen most of Ultimate, Ultimate Peter, not
yeah.
like
I'm past the part with Venom, if that's what you mean.
Well, because let's be honest, once Miles shows up, that MJ ends up dating Gwen, so like.
Yeah, but I definitely prefer 616 MJ a lot more. I mean, I know Raimi was kind of a blend of both. Yeah. And I love the Raimi MJ. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
No,
fight me.
To be fair, I like her too. I
fight me. Here's my address. I'll leave my door open.
Okay, Tony.
But
no, Colton, you don't understand. I am the Mandarin.
But yeah, but no, I prefer 616 MJ greatly.
Especially because I think she just has more nuance to her.
But let me just say, it's not my favorite MJ.
Oh?
It's like Ultimate MJ. MC2 MJ.
Yeah,
that's what I like right there. MC2.
Yeah, that checks out.
You gotta spread the MC2 love. Okay, it just checks out. Makes sense. Makes sense for Colton. Totally makes sense.
But like, cause like I like that MJ. My problem is she's too much, like her whole character is I'm in love with Peter. Like in my opinion,
the Ultimate. You mean?
She is what fans think of when they have problems with MJ.
It's like a lot of shit. People are like, oh, Peter's supposed to be in high school. No, that is a fucking thing from Ultimate.
I was gonna say,
Ultimate's not even that great. Later on, like early on, it's pretty damn solid.
Yeah,
it degrades the more it goes on.
A lot of that had to do with I think Bendis didn't know where to go with that character, which is why eventually he killed him and replaced him with Miles.
Well, no, Adam's secret identities are dumb.
Well, to be fair, Miles is like the only character he doesn't have a problem with secret identities with. Like every other character he does. Actually, no, I think it's just Spider-Man in general. He's like, no, secret identities make sense for Spider-Man. And I'm like...
Okay. Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, but, so, then to be fair, I don't think he's even working on Superman anymore, or Superman even...
I think he left.
I want to say he left.
Left or he got fired. I can't remember which. He might have just left.
I think he might have just left. Especially because I think at that point, DC was going through the overhaul with the Dio leaving.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was either that, or he probably was doing stuff for Future State. Although, admittedly, Bendis's Batman story, Batman Universe that he did for Walmart, surprisingly solid. Like, him and King, like, switched for, like, the Walmart stories where King did Superman. Again, King's Superman is surprisingly well written.
That's weird.
Especially because he couldn't write Batman, but he can fucking do Superman, like, spectacularly.
Should have just stayed switched.
Yeah, like, because, like, Batman Universe, like, it was fun. Like, Batman talks with, you know, that picture with Batman and Green Lantern about, like, Batman talking about how he loves dinosaurs. That's from that book. That's Bendis writing that Batman, and it's, again, surprisingly well written.
Getting back on topic. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, if we're gonna talk favorite, let's do that. Like favorite variations on some of these characters. Like with MJ specifically, probably MC2 is my favorite, just because to me that's like the fairy tale ending to her and Peter. I also like Renew Your Vows.
Yeah, Renew Your Vows.
Where she's Spinneret. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind Ultimate, but Ultimate, again, just gets so muddled at times.
Promise, I don't know a lot of alternate MJs. The only alternate MJ that's coming to mind to me right now is the one from Exiles. But that Mary Jane is a lesbian? Because she was dating one of the... Actually, I think she was dating the Exiles' daughter of Nightcrawler from Age of Apocalypse, I think.
I've got one. I just had it. Hold on. It was in my head. There's the one in Noir, but, like, she's not really ever around.
Yeah, and especially because they kind of push Noir Spider-Man with Felicia in that.
Oh, Tasm. The one that we never saw.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I like that just because I why the fuck would you show it to me if I can't have it? What the fuck? I don't know if that would have fixed that movie. That movie was pretty fucked from the get-go.
No, it would not have.
That movie got gradually more fucked the more it went on.
I guess we're going to talk about that. We're going to probably have to bring up the Homecoming MJ, who's not really MJ.
That's Michelle Jones, though. It's a different MJ. Like, that's not. I wouldn't even really count that as a.
No, I
know I'm going to get some flack for that.
Like,
that is canon. That's not Mary Jane. They were going to do that. Then racist motherfuckers got involved. They backed out of it, and that character's name is Michelle Jones.
Which, and to be fair, like, not only that, like, if we're done talk characterization, she really isn't.
She's not.
If
really
anything,
MJ.
she's closer to like the goth phase MJ went through in Ultimate.
Yeah.
But even then, like, to be fair, I like that MJ and that Spider-Man, but like, they're not really representations of the MJ and Spider-Man that is in the books.
Yeah.
I just realized what one we could have talked about. The animated MJ and Peter from the 95 show.
Yeah. Which I like. It just I don't really think they knew what to do with MJ in that show.
No, especially because Peter spends more time in that show with Black Cat, and I admittedly like their chemistry a lot in that show.
No!
I knew you were. Oh yeah, and then not only that. He marries a clone of her.
That is a fucking meme.
Yeah.
My God, that meme is fun. I love the one where they bass boosted.
Yeah.
And fucking roll the sneakers out.
Mary Jane! No!
What about the one with the Minecraft?
Oh, no, the Minecraft one is awful.
Where he hits the dog.
Jesus. To be fair, but yeah, I agree with you about that MJ because she's... Like, they get parts of her right, but the problem is she's so kind of bland.
I know. I don't know why I didn't think of this one sooner. PS4.
Oh yeah, PS4 MJ is great, and honestly, I love their chemistry. It's a shame they don't. I don't think. Did they get back together at the end of that? Or okay, I've not played it.
You have to get through all the DLC.
Okay, yeah, but like, cause like that MJ, I think is. My only complaint with that MJ is that she's a writing, like she's a comm major basically, or like a media major, and I'm like,
she's kind of like very Lois Laney.
Yeah, like, but to be fair, like, she still feels like MJ regardless of that. Like the fact that she doesn't put up with Peter's shit, like when he was literally gonna like strip off all his clothes to go fight Spider-Man and leave them in her kitchen. Were you gonna leave your clothes in my kitchen?
Listen, that scene gets infinitely more funnier when you just select the underwear costume and then go through that scene.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that scene is hysterical. She's in the fucking his boxers and his mat. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay.
Somebody did that and sent that to me, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Which, to be fair, this is like the only good credit I'm gonna give to Dan Slott. You know, like that joke in Big Time where Peter has to get back, but he can't get his clothes on fast enough. So he's just like, so when everyone's like coming in to see him because he sealed himself off in the lab, they're like, "Why are you just in your boxers?" Oh, this is how I think best. I just like to.
I mean, valid.
But like, that was like the only good thing I give Dan Slott. That running gag where because then Spider Island happens, and meanwhile Peter's in the Spider-Man costume. Or no, Kane's in the Spider-Man costume because Peter's like, there's not going to be any time to explain it, and you don't look completely like me, so put on the Spider-Man costume so I can be naked. Because they'll know it's a...
That's like how for like a good portion of it, I think, doesn't he run around just the bottom of the costume because MJ's got the top on?
It's not that super funny. I just love the idea that Peter let everyone believe that he thinks better in the
he does that shit.
To be fair, MJ probably is like, actually, Peter, that's pretty true. You do think best when you're naked. Another reason why that MJ and him work. They both have the kinky sex appetite.
Can't get into that, Adam. We're gonna get flagged.
To be fair, like, I always used to complain about the Spider-Man comics where he talks about, like, where they really want to talk about Peter and MJ's sex life. And I'm like, this is an all-ages book, guys.
What was that one where it's like, where he's talking about coming home early for lunch?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll make you something special to eat. And I'm like, Jesus H. Christ on a pole.
Or like,
what the fuck?
Where MJ, like, Peter's not coming home all the time, so she finds his camera and takes pictures of herself in a swimsuit.
And he crawls in on the ceiling.
And I'm like,
and they start fucking on the ceiling.
Yeah, no, I'm like, how did this get past the comic book code? Like, he clearly implies that he fucked her on the ceiling.
Picture this: we were both buck naked, banging on the ceiling. It wasn't me.
All right. Well, he couldn't have done that in that apartment because I'd have the skylight that Peter used to crawl out of, so that wouldn't work.
I think that's probably a good place.
Well, actually, I do kind of want to real quick mention the Spectacular Spider-Man and MJ.
Oh, go right ahead.
Because my God, that MJ.
You're talking the animated show, right?
Yeah, the animated Spectacular.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if you meant the comic one or the show.
Because first of all, that show did her entrance amazingly. Like, Peter's getting ready for the fall formal, and she comes in that slinky black dress. And if I were that's Peter, I was like...
Heavy breathing.
Yeah. Like, well, because, like, they do the whole thing where Peter's like, oh, yeah, Aunt May says she has a great personality. And then he opens the door, and in walks this redhead bombshell. He's just like...
Oh, fuck.
Like, no, I... Just because that show really wants to push Peter and Gwen. But then that MJ comes in, and I'm like... Peter, you're going to have to break Gwen's heart, because...
Will Smith meme.
Especially because she clearly wants it. Like, that scene where he shows up with the mask off, because, like, it's Halloween, so he's like...
fill out that costume
nicely, Tiger. And I'm like, and I love that, because every woman...
Man, it's getting steamy in here.
Because, like, every girl from his high school is like... I'm like, have you not normally seen what he wears? It doesn't really hide much the imagination.
Yeah.
But, like, I love that MJ because, like, they get her so right in that show. In my opinion, more so than the show that I like, the 95 one.
Yeah.
And I don't think we really need to talk about the 2003 show.
What about Spider-Man Unlimited? You know, all minute and a half that she's in the show. The first episode, that's it.
Well, Colton, the writers said they were going to eventually get Peter off Counter Earth. I'm like, no, they were not. The whole premise of that show was that he was on Counter Earth.
You're going to rewatch that whole fucking show so we can review it.
I don't need to rewatch that. I remember most of it. It was bad. Okay, it wasn't
good. I like that suit. I know Jared's going to be like, no web capes.
Which I don't know why he complained about that, because they stole that from Miguel from Spider-Man 2099.
No capes.
The cape's not even that bad. It's made of nanofibers and bullshit Reed Richards made for it.
All right. Anyway, I think that's probably a good place to wrap this up.
No, that is.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode and didn't mind the jump cut here at the end, but
yeah,
that was, we were so close to wrapping that episode
up.
Anyway,
No, we were.
That happened. I remember, like, literally, it's like iPad storage is full. Stop recording. And me and him were both looking at each other like, "Are you fucking for real?"
Yeah,
right now?
no. Once again, the hyphen curse. I swear to God. But anyway, guys, I think that's gonna be wrapping up. Join us for more Spidey-ness, as always. And until then, guys, I'm Zongetsu 134.
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
And as always,
we ask you
to remember the hyphen
and take care.